bonjour. Right, this week is a pretty mega week as it goes, for as far as hogVIEWs are concerned. And in my hogVIEWs, I'll bring you six of the best this week's releases. It's all US, obviously. I say obviously, but all US. I mean, I don't know about the manga stuff and all that, and I don't know why I've just suddenly gone off on that tangent straight away. Anyway, six of what I consider the best comics this week released. I'm going to start off with this little beauty. Look. Now, look at the legacy numbering on it. The legacy numbering. Issue 23. Right. In the year 2012. Now, just the Miracleman Silver Age. Neil Gaiman, Mark Buckingham. And just wonderful, wonderful writing, obviously, from Neil Gaiman. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but you ain't going to get a bad story from him. Well, you might get a little bit of a rambling, walkie-talkie one, but that's 2002. Miracleman. Just quickly, Warrior, a British comic from 1982. That's why I'm excited. This is the first Miracleman. Now, I know I'm just holding it up in front of the camera and I could do loads of lovely slick editing and all that. And I did do a little bit of this, of Gary Leach a few weeks ago because I'd just heard of his passing. But anyway, this was the first, this is an issue of Warrior, #1. It is 1982, March 1982. So a cheeky little 40 years later, we're getting issue 23. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's taking them. How many is that? That's like an issue. Oh, I don't know. It's too late to be working out the maths. Anyway, I'll be flicking through the comic, reviewing it. I won't go back through Warrior. Let me know if you want me to do that. I'm a geeky old hog and I'd love doing it. So from one of the oldest superheroes ever to two more of the oldest superheroes ever. Now this is Mark Waid on this, and it's good shit. It's good shit. If you like superheroes, and if you, or even if you think you don't, Mark Waid writes comics in a way that makes you love superheroes and makes you realise why we should love them and why they've stood the test of time in the right hands. In the right hands. I know they've had their rocky times and all that. And I'm keeping it, I'm getting the superhero stuff out of the way. Look, I'm getting all the traditional stuff out of the way. Carnage. Now, forget the films. We have to forget the films. I had to forget the film picking this up. The Venom 2 film. Because for me, it completely fucked it. But picking up that comic, I'll get into it when I review it. I'm really rambling on this intro for some reason this week. Hellboy, you gotta love a little bit of Hellboy. Look, this intrigued me. The title of it, you know, like an Hellboy in love. What? Hello. It doesn't, but it doesn't disappoint. Doesn't disappoint. I've got. This is just mad. This is just mad, and I do love it. And I think I might have reviewed the first two issues, and this is the third one, and I am trying to avoid that. But bear with me. This is the star. This little beauty right here is the star of the show. Now, just have a look at the cover, and you think, oh, it's a little bit of crap, and blah blah. Modern. Just a modern horror story tale, and properly modern, which really did surprise me. I was overjoyed, and I picked up this issue 2 today, and Paul at Comics and Fantasy in Hornchurch, Essex, England, hello Paul, hooked me up with issue 1, and he always hooks me up with some good shit, back issues, etc, etc. We're gonna get into that, and you've got to get ready for me to gush about that one. But I'm gonna leave it to last. you see what I did there? I've done the 3 traditionals, I've done the 3, but just a quick mention, I won't be going into these deep, but they was just out this week, and it was a really good week, so I just love the fact that it was a good week in comics. Look, Shaolin Cat, that's the last issue, but please, you know, I do recommend that, and you're gonna have to watch previous hogVIEWs if you want me, if you want to find out how good that is. I do go into it in detail, and I just like saying I've got wind. But anyway, I picked that up. Join me after the scroll. We're going to go in depth with those bad boys, not these 2, sorry for that, but comment and ask me, and then I might do a video. I dare you. Okay, right, let's get into it. Here we go. Let's start with Miracleman, Silver Age. Absolutely love this cover. I don't know why. It summons up everything about Marvel Man, Miracle Man, Marvel Man family, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I don't know what it is, and in the back of this issue, they go through the sketches and all of it, Mark Buckingham. So let's get into it. And what astounded me, I know I've done in my little intro, issue 23, remastered from Miracleman, issue 23, this stuff. And I don't know the history of that. All I know is it's Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham back on the, and this little intro isn't really the main bit. All right, that's going to set you up, and it's very Neil Gaiman-ish. Now this is where we get into the crux of it all. This is where, you know, this is the meat of it, the secret origin of young Miracleman. Now, without telling you what his origin is, you know, for crusty geeky old hogs, and it doesn't matter, but seeing him arrive, look at this subdued kind of way they've just introduced. I don't know when we saw, apart from the issue 0 that I that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, or a week or so, 2 ago. I don't know when the last time we properly saw him, and what a subdued way of introducing him. No big double page spread, no big Ultimates kind of style. This is, I think this is great stuff. This is great stuff. And although I praise Neil Gaiman, I'm not his biggest fan, but this character driven stuff as an issue 1 in and of itself, with Mark Buckingham's artwork in this issue, I loved all this, and you can look into all the little details, and you know, if you buy the comic, but this is just great. And it, how they kind of, if you followed Miracleman from 1982, like the modern iteration of it, this resonates. But if you know anything, and I only know the bits and pieces, the background of Marvel Man from the features they used to run in the Warrior comic that I showed you in the introduction, this is just great. I mean, Neil Gaiman must be, that's the bit I love about it, Neil Gaiman must be such a deep down fan of this stuff, and he's using it, and he's using the origin and of young Miracleman, as well as this very modern, and you will know once you've read it, that very modern overlay of it. And I don't know where he's going with it. I've got a feeling I know where he has. Anyway, that gives you a little bit of a flavour, and it doesn't look very exciting from that, I've got to admit, but believe me, it's a good read, and it is great artwork from Mark Buckingham. Very subdued, like I say, very subdued. But look at these sketches. Look, you know, this kind of artwork, it don't come from anywhere else except from Talent. This UCAC program booklet, I mean, 1992. I mean, I've got the UK Comic Art Convention stuff going back even further than that. So perhaps I'll do something on that in weeks to come. But I just love this behind the scenes stuff. And I know I'm a geekyOlhog, sorry, but I love the way they've constructed. I love the way they don't really go into how he. I know there's a way you can get some paint and stuff that just, you know, if you try artwork and you can block out what's in. Anyway, that's boring. You're here for the comics. Look, I like this stuff. I like this stuff. Little cap strip and stuff. This was a surprise for me. Now I don't know. Look, colour designs. Miracle Children colour designs by Mark Buckingham. Now he didn't. It was Geordie Belair that did the colours on this issue, and so obviously this was a colour guide. But how good is it for an artist to be this detailed in their approach? I like, look, even this. How great is this? What a good artist. I mean, you can't tell me this isn't the talented artist at work on a project. And it only comes from love, and it comes from talent. Look, he built a Lego kit of the, and I know this is all geeky shit, so I will quickly flick through, you know, the rest of that. But this is a very good start. A very good start. And I've done issue 0 because it was a bit of an anomaly, but that's a very good start to an ongoing series, and I hope they keep it up for a little while. You know, let's just get some good stuff from Neil Gaiman. Good comic stuff, and he seems to love it, so let him carry on. So from, you know, one of the oldest superheroes of all time to two more. Now this is Mark Waid. Now this is issue 8, but I recommend, I got issue 7 because it's the first part of this 2-part story, but I don't think these back issues are going to be that very much, are going to be hard to find, right? And what it is, look at this. Look at how nice and crisp and clear this artwork is by Dan Mora. And I did recommend Dan Mora's artwork in a comic. I'm just gonna, just in case you haven't watched one, because I know they're a bit long, and I do tend to go on and on. Sorry about that, but I do love this stuff. But look, just look how wonderful this this classic characters in classic artwork mode. I mean, even, you know, these little modern takes here. As much as I'm saying classic, but look, this is marvellous stuff. Look, oh, he's not the villain, is he? And it's world's finest, so there's no real surprises in it. But this is Mark Waid. So this issue 8, Mark Waid, Dan Moore on art, and Tamara Bonvillain on the colouring, and again, great colouring. They kind of throw, Mark Waid makes it look easy, this stuff. He just does. And superhero storytelling, after all these years of everyone having a go at it, it isn't easy. But coming up with something new and fresh, and like I say, I know I do kind of gloss over the story of it. This, you know, just bear with, just believe me when I say it's a good one, and that's why I kind of flick through the artwork to kind of give you this. Look at this. You can't tell me that isn't a beautiful page of artwork, and you can't tell me that even you don't know that this is now and that's a flashback. That's what makes it. That's what makes this artwork. I'm a real big fan of Dan Mora. Look, just everything you need to know. If there were no balloons, everything you need to know. Love it. He's not flying very fast, is he? With the colouring as well, like I do bang on about, you can't take away the colouring from this. Look, who else we got here? Look, Mark Waid's throwing everything, but it's world's finest, so why shouldn't he throw everything at this? This is a nice version, and I know it's kind of controversial now for some people, you know, but this is the one we like. This is the one everyone likes. If you buy and read comics, this is what we want. We don't care about anything else. We don't care who she prays to and who she goes nights with, but visually that's what we want. And look who turns up at the end. Now, you could have flicked through this comic in the comic shop, so normally I'll try not to go with spoilers, but you could have flicked through this comic and thought, I want to know now. I want to know now. This is part 2. I want to know part 3. And obviously I did pick up part 1 today. But obviously I'm just flicking through issue 8 because it was this week. But this is a recommended read from me. And this was from a couple of weeks ago, Dan Mora. That's where his artwork, which it was if you remember, this was the last issue. So all I'm going to do is just recommend this as a trade paperback. Because this was the last issue, a 30 issue run. And I just loved this artwork. And it's the same colours as well, Tamara Bonvillain. And I just can't, you know, I just want to highlight how good this guy's art is. It's a lot looser in this book, a lot more relaxed, and a lot more. I don't know if he had an inker on either of these actually. No. So he's obviously come to a different. Just let me check right in front of your eyes. I'm pretty sure there's no. Is there an inker on this? No, it's just Dan Mora on both of them. So anyway, enough of Dan Mora. Thoroughly recommend. I think you get the idea by now. Carnage. Now listen, after watching Venom 2, I've never been a fan of Venom or Carnage, believe it or not. Big Spider-Man fan, but those characters kind of came in that modern age, in that 90s era. And the film is never going to endear you to either Venom or Carnage. But something drew me in. Something drew me in to this. And again, this is issue 7. This is issue 7, but issue 6. So you haven't got to go back very far. You've only got to try and pick up last month's issue. This is this week. This is the second part of the storyline that drew me in. And they're in hell, but in the Norse mythology, in Thor's hell, in that hell. And when I just had a little flick through this, and it's got the classics here. I mean, is it going to be a crossover with Thor? I don't know. But at the moment, as always, I think it's got to be the artwork that draws you in, unless you're prepared to sit in the comic shop or stand in the comic shop and use it as a library for an hour or two. It's just, you've got to, you know, it's just, this is just not. And I like the way the greens are done, the Hella stuff. You look at the colouring, and that is Eric Arciniega doing the colouring. And you know, I'm a big fan of the colourists in this modern day and age. Love what they've done. All 3 of them together. Love what they've done. And it's Ram V, bless him, again, who's doing some great stuff for Marvel. Ram V. I think he's done I think I was recommending a modern a book by him. And look at this, as artwork goes. Just the stand, you know, I know this is kind of standard superhero-y stuff. But it's done very well. It's an interesting story, and I'm not the biggest fan of either Venom or Carnage. And I know I've done Venom last week and Carnage, so that's why you should be sitting up and listening. Lettering's nice as well when they give it the Norse characters like it. I know they've done that for a while, but I'm just going to mention it. And this artwork, it does. Roge Antonio is the artist on this, and I don't know what he's done before, because like I'm saying to you, I'm coming to this new. You know, I've got a big gap in my knowledge of who's done what. You can guess what's going on here, but again, nicely done. Why has he used duotone down here? I don't know, but I like it. Why you would use that stuff this day and age, I don't know, unless it's a little computer software graphic that you can easily do. And it's fun. It's fun. So you've got Cletus, you've got Carnage, you've got Venom, and another character. This guy is a detective, or I don't know, some Mystic Shade, his name is. and he's after them and all. So yeah, just a little. I think that is worth a look. But that was issue 7, but you need to get issue 6 for the first part of the story. I'm not saying rush out and get a graphic novel, but you're only a couple of weeks away from missing the first part. Now this is it's just a nice. I don't know why. I just enjoyed. I've loved Hellboy since day one, and I am old enough to have picked up all of the original stuff, and I have got all of the artists, everything Hellboy. I don't know if you've noticed, if any of you have followed my videos, I've got the fuck off big statue in the background in the cabinet. So, but nevertheless, so I'm ready to be disappointed, but this doesn't. But it won't exactly. This won't change the world, and it doesn't. This isn't one of the best ever comics I've ever read. But what it is just a bit of fun. It really is a bit of fun, and all it is demons jumping onto a train back in the 70s. This lady here has got to get this case to the British Museum, and this is just the first issue. It's a mini series, one of 5. But this is Goblin Night Part 1 of 2, so I don't know what they're up to. They put Mike Mignola on the cover, Little Rascals, but obviously he's the creator of it. But it's written by Christopher Golden, art by Matt Smith. I don't know what Matt Smith has done before, and it's all. Like I say, it's not exactly something I'm like, oh my god, look at that. But this is just a great read, and it is a little page turner. That's all I can say with it. It's a little page turner. I just thought, I was ready to be disappointed, but it didn't. It didn't. The title, you know, like when you roll your eyes, and I was ready to be disappointed. But do you know what? Is it the best Hellboy comic? No. But was it a decent read this week with some decent art, story, and this new quirky character? Yeah, it was. It was as it goes, and it romps along in its own way, jumping in a little car, or having to run off the road to save some sheep, etc. Nice. I'll leave it there for that one because it's not really a lot. It's not really exciting. But they do pack a lot in, a lot of story, a lot of characterization, and yeah, I just found it. I found it nice. And another one I will flick through because obviously I have gushed over Sacrament before, but just to let you know, this one is issue 3 of 5. Now, if you get all 3 issues and follow the next 2 months worth, or wait and get the graphic novel, this is going to be well worth it for anyone who's listening. Peter Milligan. He just has that way of. I've loved his work since year dot, obviously from 2000 AD, in the late 70s, early 80s onwards. So I'm going back 40 years with this fella, and the artwork on it, you get to love it more and more each issue. You know, just one little panel like this is enough for me to go, oh, just wow. It's nice, and it's not the greatest artwork of all time, but it really does suit this story. This is a good, and it is just Exorcist in space on the surface. But with Peter Milligan, and this issue really does pick up as midpoints go on an issue 3. Yeah, no, he's throwing it all in. Look. And you can get that this is a head turned backwards by a demon. So, you know, I ain't giving you any spoilers because I'm not giving you the bigger parts of the story. And it just goes into the background of this priest who's lost his way, and, you know, he's got the young Padawan that he's got to train, and then the way that the demon is manipulating him. And you can guess the way that the demon is manipulating. Oops. Ooh, cheeky. And you can guess the way the demon's manipulating him. The artwork's nice. The artwork suits it really well. But this is all but it really does heat up. It on the face of it, nice cover by the way. Not really nice cover. On the face of it, it's a really static story because it's just kind of him and her. It's just the priest and the nun and the demon in a way. Very static, but believe you me, Peter Milligan, as an experienced writer of many years, he does pull it off, as the actress said to the bishop. Now, this one, guys and girls. So, this is just take that cover in for a moment, and I think the further away you are from it, the better the cover is, the more impactful it is. And like I say, I'm coming at all this stuff fairly fresh. I'm not coming at this stuff as a... You're obviously getting the idea of by now that I've read comics for a little while, for a good fucking few years. But the newer stuff, and these newer creators whose names I can't even pronounce, bless them, I'm looking at it through fresh eyes. So, and I want to be impressed. And this is an issue. This is issue 2, and it's part of a mythos. And I know there's other parts of the story, but let's just concentrate on this 10,000 Black Feathers, because I tell you what, these 2 issues of this particular comic, of this particular story by these 2 guys, Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, an Italian artist, good old Dave Stewart colorists. You can't beat that. As colouring goes, I wish they are. I don't know if they do an award for colouring. And I don't want to kind of show issue 1. I want to show this week's issue. But what he does is, the artist is, he is blending. This style is modern day, and the classic comic strip style is the flashbacks, and then there is one more style for something else. Look how good is that? How good is that? How impactful is that? And the story they're weaving between them all is that mixture of modern day angst ridden storytelling, that character driven stuff. 2 young girls, you know, these 2, this is in their fantasy story that they're writing together as children, but they use it as a storytelling tool. So look, these are all the flashbacks. This is beautiful stuff. Beautiful. Right, now this here straight away, and this is, I think this may be what drew me in. There was an artist called Michael Kaluta back in the day. Now this would have been late 70s onwards. A fantasy illustrator who done Lords of the Rings stuff, and he'd done a run on Shadow, on the Shadow for DC. I think he did some Batman stuff. He did a series of epic comics called Starstruck, and on and on and on. One of my favourite artists of all time. Now that just particular, and we'll come back to this because I want to compare it. I want to show you why, and just reference Kaluta. But these 3, so this is the story they're telling, this fantasy story. These 2 warriors, or one's a magician, one's a warrior. This is when they were child. Look at this. This is great stuff, and I'm gonna just, oh no, it's all right, don't give nothing away. Right, and this is the modern world stuff. So this is her. This is the black character returning home, and this is the modern day stuff in this kind of photographic reference style. I just loved every. It's so good, honestly. I can't, without giving too much away. I can't kind of give you any more apart from showing you the artwork, which you must admit is stunning. So if you just bear that one in mind, and I'll show you why it kind of just reminded me of Kaluta. And this is Michael Kaluta. Now this book is from 2001, so this is all last century. And listen, I'm in no way slating and Andrea Sorrentino. I'm loving him for channeling Kaluta. Honestly, I am. This stuff here again, you know, I could keep going backwards and forwards, but I just wanted an excuse to show you some Kaluta artwork, to be fair. And even this, and you know I love all this behind the scenes stuff, like in the Miracleman, the sketch stuff, and how this ends up. That again, there's something about what was referenced there. Yeah, what was referenced there, that just, whether it's a subconscious thing or not, I don't know, or whether he just genuinely just loves Kaluta and it was a big influence on him. But anyway, whatever way it ended up, a bit of Vampirella there. We all have a bit of Vampirella, and I know I'm kind of going off track, but I just wanted to show that the reference that the great artists, you know, follow. It's just the great artists follow. There was just one more. Here we go. Again, and this stuff that he always used to use on the back of on the edge of his, always that way, and then you go to that. So anyway, I won't bang on about old artists anymore. Those are my recommendations. The only thing one thing I just would say, I don't think I've mentioned this before, just if anyone at Image Comics is listening, these back pages. Now, why can't, for someone like me, look, that's good information, that. But for someone who isn't a superhero comic reader, or who might wander into a comic shop and the manager, the comic shop owner, whatever it is, might be busy, well, why can't this have, why don't they use these back pages instead of wasting the back page with just a panel of comic or a little symbol like they do on I 8 Fairyland and stuff like that, which is cool comics, it's all good shit. Why not have a blurb on it, like a paperback would? And it doesn't matter if it's the same thing every month. It's going to be better than a comic panel, because that doesn't tell me anything. Like, if I'm coming into comics cold, this is just anyone, an editorial or packaging marketing level is listening. This doesn't help. This doesn't help. And flicking through, I know I'm flicking through and I'm trying to help, but wouldn't it help if you were dragged in by that wonderful cover? Like, that's a great design. Marvellous. I thought that was a beautiful design of a cover. And then you go into the beautiful artwork. Now, unless you stand there in the comic shop and read all the way through, this particularly impressed me, by the way, this panel, because it's the mixture of them in the fantasy story and this building. Now, we don't know where they are yet in the real world, but we have got the real world in the background in that photographic style. That's what I call an attention to detail, and working in combination with, you know, it's everyone working in combination. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino and Dave Stewart, they've all got to be, as British politicians are saying at the moment, in lockstep with one another. Anyway, I won't flick through that comic again because I've showed you it, but that was just more for the back cover. Why not have something that gives you a little indication of the story? Because if you flick through it and you've been impressed by the artwork, and you will be, wow, I mean, this can't not entice anyone in. And I am going to bang on a little bit more about it. Why not put the blurb on the back? Look, this nice modern day. This is when they're in, you know, the three different styles. Look, so you've got the style of the flashback style, and she's remembering. That's the memory, and that's her in the flashback. And she's in modern day remembering. It's marvellous, honestly, and I probably ain't doing it justice, so I should be a bit more eloquent, but it's a great comic, and it's issue 1. I think all the other stuff, no, I know for a fact, all the other Bone Orchard Mythos stuff is available in trade paperback, and I will be getting them in individual issues because I'm a geeky old hog. But this is the one. This is the one. And I will leave it there. I'll leave it there for this week. I think I've rambled on a bit this week, but I was most enthused. This was a really good week. I mean, I kind of had 8, well, I kind of had 8 or 10 to choose from, but I chose 6 to do. And obviously a shout out to another couple more, and there was another couple more as well, a couple more DC, but they, you know, it was all more traditional stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it does make it more boring for a video. And I'd like to recommend something that maybe you may have missed, you may not look at, and try something different. And on that note, for this week, thank you if you got through this far. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, please. That does help me reach a better audience, a wider audience. Not a better audience, because you're all here with me already, so, but a wider audience, which would be nice. And I will bid you adios.